physics nam gelena teninga daksa NIT Jalandhar ne BTech mechanical engineer pursue chonella
Julengi met Hillesundulinde yanga Delhi University ne BSc Life Science change tane
tene dring nang iska ika lamstan interview series khurte jaltenle tene lamstan bochi no junale lamstan is an organization which aims to connect students from remote areas to professionals and mentors at the global level. The lamstane manpa yang greater ambition bo greater objective bochi no zanale tene ngai ina lamstan na tugun yongste my culture of sharing and helping it to nurture jodle. Like for example ngata tui gat kya khalale the te to remotest area jina lobjong zalat kya the te to nam yang to ji ka city na lobjong zalat kya te na chi difference ki ong zanale that te city na to lobjong zat kan to basic resources unke paas hota hai the basic resource which is like internet and guidance from the seniors and professionals. The basic difference is just they two is kena gap shiglus. Like what Lumsden does is helps in covering this gap. Like how is it possible zinale Lumsden e kalk shay gap ko cover chono zinale. The ngai students a group shigle ka rangla field in Excel chodle yaman Excel chod sartedle. They mun ngai summer occasions mun na tugun chaishik rangna time mun duste project legal last chodle like this time we are working on Ladakh Career Festival for the first time in history of Ladakh like then achi project legal janale Lumsden book bank mega event expert talks yang I interview series pong ngai I project na inla then ityo mun pa ngai this time we are planning to go even to Kargil.
Tene during the interview series na cards and ondus kundu monjal tenle tene kale ngala Norwegian company jina as a team leader chakla zadikya and daksa British company jina as a sales manager for Asia and Middle East if ya chakla zadin jita hanole
Jula kale
Chule
kale ngi first question mo kala tirle kale malab basic childhood mostly time bo kara spend just mil yang basic education bo like up to 10th up to 12th te kara sat mil angara high studies kara sat mil yang tane chi subjects to mil
Kasa. Well, I'm going to speak in English. I was born in Ladakh, Leh, in a village called Gompa, which is about 3 kilometers from the town area in the Jingmal family. And since 5.5 years old, I've moved on to Mussoorie, where I did my entire primary and secondary school in Weinberg Allen School, which is a British school, and I've stayed from KG to 12th there in the hostel. And so my entire schooling was done in Mussoorie. Then after my 12th, I moved on to Delhi University, and I secured a seat in Shriram College of Commerce. For 3 years I did my BCom honors. Again I was in the hostel there as well. Then for 2 years I did my masters in international business again from Delhi School of Economics in Delhi University, and I was in the hostel again there. So I've not spent much time in Ladakh and it's after that it was all moving on to my career, working in the corporate world. Yeah.
Tene kale next question wele kale hobbies kun chimpin kale jese tours ya games na interest ano suja music na interest ano kale chi na interest rot punyale tene yang tyo man pa kale chuntu zane same donga chimo son de zuk gaming na zuk dan ngin na samte kale aim bo chimpin kale tene yang te aim bo end up maintain lo samalus kale
Kasa. Well, I'm from a very simple background, and my parents are farmers, and we didn't have much money at home, and my folks have actually taken loan to educate me. So my objective in life was first to meet ends, to make a proper living for myself. And as such, my parents didn't give me a guidance where I could pursue my interest or career. And if I had some kind of an interest or an objective, it involved money. So I had to curtail that back. So for myself personally, my objective was to make money, as simple as that. And to pursue that, of course, I had to put in a lot of effort in my studies, and I had promised myself that after my studies I will make some money and get my parents to enjoy or live in a bit of comfort. And so far I've been able to do that, and I've taken my folks abroad, and they've visited a couple of countries, so they're a bit contented. And coming from a background which is very humble, very simple, and staying in a village and then seeing the world, I feel that to an extent I have fulfilled what I wanted to do for my parents. Now it's for my family. You have different phases in life. First it was studies to get good grades. Studying in India is not easy. You need to really beat the competition. That was the objective. Then secure an admission into a good college which gives you a break, to get your career started. And then of course once you are in the corporate world, then your objective is to move higher up the ladder and make more money. And so far it's been good, and I thank God for that. Yeah.
Kale, the question boile कि मेरा मतलब ये corporate world है ना yang जो interest क्या खाला tapi मेरा जो polambo kazuk shia thople kazuk shia yang interest pelle yang te na te lambe na kakskil rikchi yang sle yang te kakskil be fe yang rock sizas le yang guidance chik sweet ane thop te guidance chik.
Well, to be honest, as I've just mentioned, my objective was to first build a solid foundation for me and my family. We were on shaky grounds, and we didn't have much financial resources. So the target was to immediately enter the job market and earn money for myself and for my family, my parents. And it was not easy because my parents are farmers. They don't know anything about the corporate world. Basically, what drove me to come into the job life in a private sector is the scope of making money for myself and my family. And of course, once you study outside Ladakh, you see the competition and you have access to more information and resources. And that's how I've basically done on my own. So there's no father figure or there's no role model for me. It was the need to fulfill my basic demands as well as my wants and my parents' wants. And there were lots of hurdles because when you go for a job interview and they look, because we don't gel or we don't see ourselves as similar to the other Indians, from the plains. We are people from the hills, and there is a different view that whether this fellow will be able to cope up in a tough, job market where everybody is trying to step over the other to make, go ahead. So those were the challenges. And then in private sector, you're never secure. You perform, you rise up, and you're paid. So there's no laid back attitude, and that's how you grow. And these are the challenges, and you got to work hard. You got to prove yourself. You got to bring in the numbers. You got to report to not just your boss, but you've got the management. You've got the board of directors, because they only believe in numbers. And in a private company, as far as you satisfy or your shareholders, your job is secured. So if the day that doesn't happen and you don't deliver, you're out. So it's those were the basic challenges which I faced as well. Yeah.
Tenekale zo dasa ladasana la le migu nizano government job tik salgo sana government job tik thumna ma gyala no zete zano tenekale na private sector jina less than no wala tene ladas ma one mentality wo ka un government job na ma focus ta no te skora ka la chi tu samji inda.
See, the principles of our country, India as such, for the last 6 decades has been based on socialism, so which means equality to all. But when you see at the ground level, that's not happened.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and we still follow some of those principles even in our careers, because and our parents and our older generation, they have been ingrained with those principles, where they want to see that their children have a safe and secure future.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, whether you're performing or whether you're making money or not, that's secondary. The basic criteria is that, okay, my son or my daughter is secured in this job, now I can relax.
Yeah.
All right. So that attitude now is passé. It's no longer in vogue. You know, and now it's, you got to make a career for yourself very fast. You know, once you reach the age of 21, 22, you've graduated, you've done your studies, get into the market, and then get rolling. To get the private sector gives you a whole lot of opportunities, especially now, because the economy is open since 1991, and you have many options where a qualified person like now you yourselves are about to graduate, you can get into the private sector, and there's no harm in having your objective as to make money. Why don't see it as bad thing that, like you yourself are young and you can just openly say that my interest is to make money and make lots of money. There's nothing bad in that, no harm in that. You're doing everything legally and rightly, and if you have that as your objective and you go into the private sector, because you perform, you don't have to wait for 3 years to get your promotion or a pay rise. I get my pay rises every 6 months. I'm happy with that, because I deliver and it helps me.
Depends on your performance.
Exactly, exactly. And I want to retire quickly. I don't want to wait for 60 years. I may retire in the next 5 years because I've secured my financial, stability, and come to Ladakh to retire. So, I won't say this is an advice, but I'm just trying to say that there are opportunities open for you. Yes, government jobs are good. You get them, they're good. But don't restrict yourself to getting government jobs, and within government sector you have getting through the UPSC or the state administrative services. Those are not the only options. If your passion is to explore the world, like for myself, I'm in international shipping. I've visited a whole lot of countries and I have to travel for my work. So you might not get that opportunity in the government sector because you are limited to a particular state or a particular sector. So, and at this juncture, I would just sort of a small not advice basically, but just my own experience saying that keep your options open. Don't restrict yourself only to the government sector. Yeah.
So Kale, you said that like you have given a small advice, but I want to give some other advice, like about the opportunities and career for the youngsters of the Ladakh who wants to follow in your footsteps. Like any advice, guidance, tips, small things.
The most important for youngsters of Ladakh is your education. You got to really work hard and get those grades, because in India grades are the most important.
Exactly.
For the next step, maybe you want to secure admission in a good college, or you want to pass an engineering entrance, and accordingly as per your grades you are given that different colleges, or even in engineering that particular stream.
Yes,
You are aiming for electronics but your grades are not good, you get civil or something, and then you're again gone there. So education is the most important, because our resources are limited. We don't, our parents don't own companies, our folks don't have solid basis of carrying on a business, expanding. So education is the most important factor. It's not just primary education, it's It's holistic and getting those grades. To put it simply, you know, there's no second option to that. Number one. Second is, of course, you listen to your parents, to the advisors, but how much do they know? Are they connected to the world? Do they know what's happening globally? Do they know what's happening beyond these Himalayas? What's happening in the state? What's happening at the center in Delhi? And what's happening globally? So don't restrict yourself to opportunities that are in a particular sector. You know, like for example, the government sector or the teaching sector. Go beyond the shores. Now is the time. Internet has broken all barriers. Now is the time, move and see what's happening in the world, because there are huge opportunities. But those opportunities come with some challenges. That is, there's competition to it. So you got to prove yourself and get into the, get into the rat race and come on top of it. So from my experience, I can say that explore what's there, and that comes through gathering information, doing a bit of research, because after all it's your career, you know. Nobody else is going to come and say, spoon feed you and say that please come and I will give you an opportunity. You have to explore, and if you have an interest, you have a passion, pursue it. Don't restrict, go ahead and just don't feel shy and put yourself back and say that no, that's a bit difficult for me. I'm from the hills, I'm from Ladakh, I cannot do it. Don't restrict yourself. Go ahead, do it, work hard, and you will get it.
Yes. Last question Lumsden har saal har summer na mega event mega event na we have lots of gathering. Like last year more than 1,000 people were gathered. Then is bar na ite samachin mo is mega event like this time we have that Ladakh Career Festival. Then they fair like mera achi message like mera achi advice shiksalin Lumsden chala sikya.
Well, very great initiative. All of you are so young. I mean, when I was your age, I was basically running around to find out what to do next, So you and the Lumsden team have provided platform to all the youngsters, all those who are about to graduate from Ladakh, to give them kind of a guidance, because of course the parents can guide them, but have limited knowledge. But you have seen what happens globally, not just in India. So it's a great opportunity, and I would say that the people from Leh and Kargil, they are very lucky to have Lumsden, because from our time we didn't have anybody, and I'm sure you will continue to hold such events, the mega event which you say about, and the interview series, and career counseling, very crucial, because and I'm sure half of the students out here, they don't even know what opportunities lie, because they are they may not be advised well, and they may not have the resources to get those information. So it's a great opportunity, and me and my family will support all your activities in whatever way we can, and all the best.
Thank you.
Like providing all the guidance and all the advices for the youngsters, like they will really get motivated with your words. And lastly, thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.